Are you tired of putting out fires because conflict in your team is slowing down your productivity?
What differentiates leaders who run high-performing teams from those who don't?
Knowing how to use their leadership voice effectively.
Successful leaders create psychological safety and empower their teams to also use their voices effectively, so they can shift from this into this. I know what you're thinking, but how can we achieve this? Welcome to the 5 Voices system. I'm Manuela, leadership coach.
I'm Wolfgang, public speaking coach.
In the next 15 minutes, you will experience a free demonstration of the 5 Voices Bootcamp to skyrocket the collaboration, communication, and performance of your team.
You will learn top communication tools in the industry used by thousands of high-performing leaders in companies such as Fortune 500s, Delta Airlines, or Nike. But before we show you how the 5 Voices system works, Manuela, can you please tell us the key elements that create a high-performing team?
Of course, Wolfgang, let me show you my favorite tool, the Maximizing Team Performance Flywheel. Leaders want to get more done with the same people and resources. Like Diego Simeone with Atlético de Madrid. He turned a team constantly overshadowed by Barcelona and Real Madrid into the top competitor. How? Maximizing the potential of the team he already had. And that's the definition of capacity. So, how can we leaders maximize the performance of our teams like Simeone? When I work with leaders, the frustration I constantly hear is,
we tried everything and we are hitting the ceiling over and over again.
They cannot identify the real problem. And I always ask them this question: can you build trust in a relationship without talking? The truth, without common language that builds trust in your team, growth is nearly impossible. That's why communication is number 1 in the flywheel. If people don't feel heard and valued, they won't give their best. And what's worse, you will lose time, money, and talent because eventually those people will go away. I see it all the time. Leaders only focusing on the execution part. But if number 1 and number 2 aren't green, inefficiencies will slow the team down. That's why to get alignment from your team, first comes communication and second, relational trust. Once your team is aligned, then we tackle number 4, execution, and eliminate all the inefficiencies. When leaders focus on these 4 elements, communication, trust, alignment, and execution, the capacity of the team naturally increases. And then is when you see organizations thriving.
This is a great tool for leading high-performing teams, Manuela, but how can I apply it to my team specifically to measure their performance?
There is an assessment that measures your team's health and performance, leaving you with data you can really grab and improve over time. If you're curious, just book with me a free call in the link below.
Sounds great, but first I would love you to explain a bit more about first communication and second, relationships. I'm curious to better understand how we leaders can communicate more effectively and create relational trust.
Simple. Using the 5 Voices system. These are the 5 voices. Let's start with nurturers. We all love nurturers. They are the champions of relational harmony and human values. When they speak, their voices sound calm and caring.
How are you, John? Is your father feeling better? What can I do for you today?
They are excellent at understanding people's needs and emotions. So when there's change happening within the organization, you might get,
have you considered how the consequences of your decision will affect our people?
But watch out, because all voices have superpowers and weaknesses, and the weaknesses of the nurturers are people-pleasing and fear of conflict. If something bothers them, chances are they won't tell you, which can turn very toxic for the team in the long run. Nurturers make almost 40% of the world population, so their presence in your team is significant. How to empower them as a leader? Create a safe space where they feel comfortable expressing their concerns and affirm their competence. They tend to be very hard on themselves.
Maria, we really appreciate your input and would love to hear your thoughts on this.
We all know creatives, those dreamers who can share 100 ideas in 1 minute. I had this amazing idea to redesign our brand logo, and then I had another idea. We could go to a disco club for a brainstorming session. Creatives are the champions of innovation. They are future-oriented and can see opportunities and risks before anyone else. So a great question to ask your creatives might be,
what do I have to worry about in 3 years from now?
They represent only the 9% of the world's population, so they are very unique voices. But watch out, their communication might be very abstract or idealistic, which makes them struggle to communicate effectively. How to empower them as a leader? Do not judge them for what they say first, and ask clarifying questions to help them articulate their thoughts clearly.
How exactly will your idea change the world? What is different? What is exactly the purpose of doing a brainstorming session in a disco club?
Next voice, guardian. We all know guardians, that person who is very disciplined and organized. Guardians are the protectors of efficiency, resources, and order. When they speak, their voice sounds concise and direct.
This has to be here, and this here, and this here. No, do it. I don't like it.
Guardians represent around 30% of the world's population, often playing a crucial role in ensuring that teams stay grounded and focused. They bring a practical and logical approach to decision making and make sure that plans are well thought out. But watch out, because their critical approach might save time and money, but it can come across as overly negative or even rude and silence other voices in the team. So how to empower them as leaders? Welcome their challenging critique and commitment to due diligence, but remember them to mind their tone.
Harry, I really appreciate your critical feedback, and it's excellent. It really helps the team to grow, and that's why I love to see you also excelling in using a kinder tone with your colleagues, especially those who are more sensitive. Could you do that for the team?
We all know connectors, that charismatic person entering the room. Connectors are excellent at selling, networking, and bringing people together. When they speak, their voices sound charismatic, passionate, and enthusiastic. I'm so excited. I have an idea that will change the world. Connectors make up about 11% of the world's population, often serving as the glue that holds teams together. But watch out, connectors might get criticism and feedback very personal. How to empower them as a leader? Give them space to share their ideas as passionately as they can.
Wow, it sounds exciting. Please tell me more about your idea.
That's key. This is a connector speaking. Next voice, pioneer. We all know the pioneers, we all hear the pioneers.
Hey, how are you advancing with our project?
This is the loudest person in the room. Pioneers are the strategists, the problem solvers, and the drivers of results. Their voices sound very confident and decisive.
We can be the first to achieve this goal. We just need the right strategy.
Pioneers are focused on winning and will push the team towards ambitious goals. They represent only 7% of the world's population and often are the ones who set up the pace and direction for the entire team. But watch out, pioneers' strong will and initiative can overpower others, leading to a lack of collaboration. So how to empower them as a leader? Don't worry, they empower themselves. You just need to affirm their competence and remind them to listen more and be more collaborative with the team.
James, I appreciate your hard work. It's excellent. And that's why I would love to see you also excelling in listening more to your teammates. It will enrich your vision. Trust me. Could you do that for the team?
Et voila! This was a short demo of the 5 voices. I hope you visualized how these 5 voices play out in your team.
Manuela, all this sounds amazing, but how do I find out the voices of my team?
Great question, Wolfgang. There is a 5 voices free assessment below this video, which will tell you the voices of your team. Let me give you an example of how this would look like. Let's imagine you are my leader. We both did the assessment, so we know our voices. You are first voice guardian and I am first voice connector, what we call nemesis voices.
Nemesis? What does that mean?
It means we operate completely differently as human beings. You take your decisions based on systems and logic, and I take my decisions based on people. You are very pragmatic and process information in the present, and I'm a dreamer who processes information in the future. So a conflict between us might look like this.
Manuela, I need this report done by tomorrow.
Okay, but you know what? I had an idea that will change the world. I visualized a villa in Ischia, Italy, overlooking the sea, where we could create events to get visibility worldwide.
She's crazy. She's making me waste time. The priority right now is getting this freaking report done. Manuela, today we don't have time for your fantasies. Please get this report done by tomorrow.
He thinks I'm crazy and always destroys my enthusiasm. I'm not going to share my ideas with him anymore.
But this is what happens when you know the 5 voices dynamics.
I don't have time for this right now, but I would like to hear more about this idea. Thanks for sharing this with me, Manuela. It sounds interesting. Let's focus on this report first because it's due for tomorrow, and then let's book a time to explore your idea.
He's right. The report has the priority, but I'm happy he will consider my idea.
This is a game changer, Manuela, because that's what usually happens, right? The louder voices silence the quieter voices.
Any team needs to have the 5 voices represented to be high performing.
Great example, Manuela, but how do I apply it to my team? Who should speak first?
Empowering each voice will unlock the full potential of your team. For example, let nurturers speak first in meetings to create a safe space and remind pioneers to listen more to foster collaboration. Understanding your team's voices will allow you, the leader, to adjust your communication to better connect, predict conflicts, reduce inefficiencies, assign roles effectively, and all these will boost the performance of your team.
It really sounds like what we need to break through that ceiling and maximize the performance of our teams.
And this is only one example on how to improve your life as a leader and the performance of your team. But in the full bootcamp, you will practice way more case scenarios. We will get deeper into everybody's voices, so we make sure we are aligned at the fullest capacity.
And how can I get you to give this training in my organization? What are the next steps?
Simple. Let's have a chat. Just book your free consultation down below and let's start unlocking the full potential of your team today. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing. I will book that call with you right now.